There you go. Do you want to keep sharing your screen or no?
I don't have to. I can stop it.
Okay. That way I can see everyone at the same time. Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday night. It kind of feels like Monday over here with all these days off for the schools. But welcome if you are a partner in the business and you're coming on to hear testimonies, or if you invited potentials on to hear testimonies, welcome. You could drop that in the chat. But So let me start with this. My name is Lisa. I've been with in network marketing now, right? We have to change our terminology to 11 years this summer. Um, I went from being a full-time school counselor. My daughter was 2 at the time, just needing some extra income. Stumbled upon this business, which was It Works for 10 full years, right? And so if you're an It Works OG, or if you are just getting started with Zinzino, or if you're just a potential that's on right now that's interested, we were It Works, and now we are It Works with Zinzino. And back in 2020, I made a decision that I live in New York. So if you know New York, there was a lot of rules and regulations, and I wasn't allowed to go back to work if I didn't comply with mandates. So I did not comply, and I turned my business into full-time income. But with that came other responsibilities that I didn't know that I was being prepared for. My dad got sick. Thank God he's doing better. My mom got sick right after. Unfortunately, she passed away shortly after she got sick, 9 months ago. And I've just been able to be here. I've been able to be here with my daughter. I've been able to take care of my dad before, during, and after all of this. And it just put a lot of things into perspective of what I was being prepared for. So, something that you might be going through right now, you may not know why, whether it's with your health or with your finances, but it's preparing you for something bigger. So I will leave it at that. When I found this business, or when this business found me, it was because of a skinny wrap. They were body wraps, they were tighten, toning, and firming wraps. And I fell in love with the product. That's the biggest thing, is that you fall in love with something, right? And I decided to turn it into making some extra income, which then down the road led me to being able to leave my career. But those skinny wraps gave me amazing results. And that's what people are looking for. People are looking for results. People are looking to look better. People are looking to feel better. And now fast forward 11 years with this merge with Zinzino, it completely took a different path for me. So I have amazing personal results with the coffee, with our aloe, with our gut health products. And that's what I still continue to use. When this merge happened in March, we were introduced to something called omegas, balance oil, balance test, right? And I could probably speak for a lot of people on here. We were like, what the heck is that? Right? I call it the best kept secret. And now it's not a secret anymore because I'm getting it out there to everybody because of what this oil does. And that was one of the products. There's many products, but there's an omega oil. And many of you guys on here probably have your own testimonies with some of the new products. And it is just such a powerful product that we have to talk about. For me personally, and I'm going to keep mine short because there's amazing people on here with their testimonies as well. My personal testimony is I started using it because that was the thing to do, right? Because this is what I was going to be talking about and promoting. I needed to see myself using it. And 2 weeks in, I was in the process of getting an MRI for my hip because I was having hip pain. And the doctor told me that it was inflammation. There was nothing else, but he was going to still send me for for an MRI just in case. I couldn't go. That's neither here nor there. The reason why I went and they wouldn't do the MRI, and it was postponed. And then I started noticing that I didn't have hip pain anymore. And I was like, I do very heavy lifting. So in the gym 5 days a week. So a lot of people will just say, oh, it's because you do heavy lifting. Oh, it's because you're getting older. Your body's changing. And I was just like, this sucks if that's the case. And I noticed that my hip pain was not there. And sometimes when something happens, when you start doing something, you're like, is that too good to be true? It's a fluke. No, let me tell you, it's going on 4 months. and my hip has never felt better. My knee glitches, my shoulder glitch, never been better. Um, so that is with the balance oil because it is for inflammation in your body. And we have a balance test that will tell you how much inflammation you really have inside of your body. And then you could use a balance oil to correct that. And those two things alone, there are other things that it has helped as well, bloating and menstrual cramps for both myself and my daughter, and she's 13. But I will leave you guys with this. I was on a Zoom and I was told about our vitamin D. As a country, as we are deficient in vitamin D, but I heard about magnesium and to take that for migraines, and I never did. I never took vitamin D and I never took the magnesium because I wasn't being the doctor wasn't telling me directly what to take and how to take it, right? And I was just, it was very standoffish. And I found out that our vitamin D supplement has four different types of magnesium. And I also found out that if you're using a vitamin D supplement, that's not, it's not going to fully get into your body if you don't have the magnesium to break that down. Needless to say, I started it 2 weeks ago and I've had one slight migraine when I've had them for 3, 4 days at a time, where my neurologist said, okay, 12 migraines a month isn't enough for you to do X, Y, and Z. And it's been 2 weeks and I've had one minor migraine. So if you are suffering from migraines, magnesium within our vitamin D supplement is absolutely amazing. So that is just a little bit about myself and some of the products that we have that have completely changed my life, even more so within the last 3 months. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Sizemore if you would like to go and share. Otherwise, there's other people on that just unmute and take the mic.
That's fine.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there it is. Just slide up there and the OK button on the. Yeah, there you go. Alrighty, so you.
Okay. Yeah, I was afraid you were going to call my name first. That's like I just retired 2 years ago from teaching first grade for 25
Okay.
years. I can talk to, 6-year-olds all day long, but a Zoom with adults and I'd rather I'd rather sit in the background. And I just sat here going, yeah, she's going to call my name first. I know she is. Um, so my story, which Rusty's been telling me for, weeks now that you've got to share your story. So it just took me this long to get to where I could have enough nerve to do it. Anyway, I was diagnosed with lupus almost 3 years ago, although I've dealt with the issues of lupus most of my life, didn't realize, and it takes a long time to get a diagnosis. So about 3 years ago, um,
For everyone.
about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed officially with lupus. And I had all of the most common things except for the rash on my face. I don't have that, and some of the sensitivities, but I do have the major arthritis and issues in my joints, specifically my hands, my fingers. A lot of it, they say, is what they call the teacher fingers, just from all of the work that you normally do with your hands. But my wrists, my elbows. I have some trouble with my neck and my knees, and I have, since I retired, had both knees replaced. So I have titanium knees now. But I started using the oil. It's been about 2 months ago,
2 months.
about 2 months, 2.5 months ago. And the first things I noticed were my hands. I thought, wow, that's different. My fingers are lighter. They're not as full of inflammation as they used to be. My knuckles were huge, and I couldn't wear my wedding bands. I couldn't wear anything. And now I'm actually back into my wedding bands. I can wear whatever I want now. And one of the biggest things was I would wake up every morning with my hands um, just locked in this kind of position. I can remember my grandmother at, 80 and 90 years old. Her hands were like this all of the time. And I would literally have to peel my hands open in the mornings from going into this position at night. So, and I don't have that at all now. And it amazes me the things that I can do that I couldn't do without a lot of pain before. So, and since I've retired, I started making the jewelry jars, the mystery jewelry, and I mess a lot with tiny pieces of jewelry and unknotting them and, doing all that. And I would have such trouble. And I do that just as kind of a hobby and just something to keep my mind occupied. Kevin and I we lost my daughter 2 years ago, to vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and she died at 34 of a massive heart attack. And so there have been a lot of changes in our lives since then. So this was one of the things I picked up to do, and it bothered me that I couldn't sit there and work and do things like that for any amount of time without being in so much pain that I was, Tylenol, ibuprofen, all of that I'm not even supposed to have. Um, so other than that, all of the lupus meds that they put, start right off the bat, the rheumatologist starts off with, none of them did anything for me, but make me sick. We tried the ones without chemo. We tried the ones with chemo. We tried the infusions, so many different ones, and they would try for 2 and 3 months at a time, and basically just either made me sick or had no result at all. So you can imagine how excited I was that with just in the first 2 weeks, and I was able to move my hands and my knees, everything without near as much pain. Just getting up in the morning would amaze me. Every morning I'd sit up and go, yeah, that's great. I don't have to sit here for 10 minutes and convince my body to move. Um, Kevin and I met with the rheumatologist and spoke with him, and we told him what we had planned on doing and what we were looking at with the omegas, and he was actually thrilled, that he was very excited. And we asked him if he would kind of keep tabs and just watch. I told him I was going off of all of the pharmaceuticals, and he was really pretty excited about that. So actually, I go back to him next week, and he had said he was very interested in finding out what the results of I see him every 3 months now. So it's going to be, well, it'll be almost 3 months by the time we go back. So pretty excited to talk to him and see what he thinks about it. Trying to think of anything else that Rusty, help me out here. What else? Oh, the sleeping. That was a big problem. Never been a real big sleeper anyway. And frequently 4 or 5 hours was all I needed. I did not dream, especially after my daughter passed. I had a lot of just so much on my mind, trying to shut down my brain to where I could sleep because the nights were the worst. So, but found that within the first 2 to 3 weeks, well, actually the first week, I was the first time I woke up and thought, wow, it's, 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and I've not been awake all night. I've slept since probably 9 or 10 o'clock straight through. That started happening. I don't dream as much as some of the other people that I have heard talk about dreaming. But I'm okay with that right now. So, I care for I'm the sole caregiver for my 93-year-old mother. And, there's just a lot of, up and down during the night with her. And so it was good for me to be able to sleep all night and feel refreshed in the morning, to be able to handle some of that. Um, the brain fog. Brain fog is huge with lupus. I don't know how much you all know about lupus, but brain fog for me was really a problem. And also the speaking part of it. There's a lot of issues with lupus that involve just coming up with the right words. And I guess the brain fog and the speaking kind of go hand in hand, which is really hard for a teacher to deal with. Because you've got to be able to talk straight through. So that was a big problem. There were days, and it just progressively got worse over the past 3 years. When I got very frustrated, I would go into Myers to the grocery store and come back and have absolutely no idea where my vehicle was. And not just, I mean, I know some people do that on and off, but this was pretty consistent. And it got to where it was scary because I really would have absolutely no idea. Got to where I would have to even take a picture. I started off just looking at, oh, this is a, aisle D or whatever, the big sign they have up, and to remember where my car was. And then I got to where I come out and I couldn't even remember what letter it was that I had seen. Twice I had issues just finding my way back home. And it's not that I was so lost, but I could tell that there was a little bit of frustration with, am I going the right direction? Things like that. A lot of brain fog. Forgetting that I had, put something in the crock pot, or just those kind of things that should not happen. I mean, I just turned 61, so I expect a little bit of that at some point, but not like I was. So I have noticed that that is pretty much, yeah, pretty much gone. I don't really have any problem with that anymore. Um, and the speaking, I do have occasionally a little bit of trouble coming up with words, but I don't think it necessarily, I think that's more just my life is very busy and I've got a lot going at all at the same time. So it's not like it was before I started taking the oils. So, that's kind of my story. I did lose weight. I've always struggled with weight. And within the first couple weeks, I'd lost about 12 pounds. And now I can't say that I haven't put a couple of those pounds back on because I have. But I think a lot of it just also does with the fact that I feel so much better. And, able to go out after church and eat with friends, or able to go out and have a date night, stuff that I didn't feel like doing before. And so, yeah, I'm expecting the weight loss to continue. And I think that's it for me.
Well, first, thank you for sharing. You would never know that you do not like to speak, to adults. I completely understand that. I even had a hard time speaking with children in big groups because I was a counselor, so I was able to be isolated. So I completely understand.
I could do 500, 600 kids at a time and not have a problem with it. But yeah,
You
if
did
I just keep
amazing.
talking, it just flows through and I'm done. So we're good.
Well, you did amazing, and that's an amazing testimony that needs to be shared with the world because imagine you feeling so much better and how many people want to feel better.
Oh,
So,
my thought is with lupus, and I guess because I've only been dealing with it officially for about 3.5 years, and then you start, I see a lot of people that are so much younger than me that are dealing with even more. And I'm thinking, if it'll help somebody that's in their 30s or 40s not to lose the time that I lost. So that's kind of my goal. I want to be that lupus warrior.
absolutely. I appreciate your time and coming on and sharing that.
Well, thank you.
Okay. I see a bunch of my girls on here. Who's gonna be brave and just unmute themselves? Go ahead, Peggy.
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Hi everyone. So my testimony has to do with my 9-year-old daughter. So last year, February of last year, she had a small panic attack at school. So I took her to her pediatrician, wanted to make sure she was okay. She tested negative for everything. They said, we think she had a panic attack at school. Fast forward to this year, my daughter is 9. She's a competitive dancer. She does 8 competitive dances, and she also dances for a professional school here in New York called Alvin Ailey. And so we noticed during competitions, she started getting like these panic attacks, and they were increasing more and more. And so the last one she had on May 3rd, and it was right after she finished performing on stage with her group. And as she's walking backstage, she collapses and has a panic attack that looks like a seizure. So I normally am able to bring her back by spraying a sour candy spray in her mouth so the senses can come back to that point. That wasn't working. Another parent ran to see if there was any medical help at the venue. There was a nurse there who helped me. It was about 8 minutes or so, and we couldn't bring her out. She was shaking, couldn't breathe. Her eyes were rolling back. And at this point, I start to panic, right, as a mom. Um, and I didn't know what was wrong with her. When she was 9 months old, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. When she was 9 months old, she had a febrile seizure. So the first thought in my head was that maybe this is a seizure. Now she's had multiple episodes throughout competitions where they even called 911 because they didn't know what was wrong, but I was able to bring her back. Um, she then, once we brought her back, 15 minutes later, she changed into her outfit, danced back on stage. You would have never thought she was just on stage, laying down, not being able to breathe. That Monday, I took her to her pediatrician. We did a full blood panel. We then decided to get her a neurologist, and they did a EEG test on her on May 11th. For 45 minutes, the results were normal. Um, May 15th, she had a she had her spring show for Alvin Ailey. They're a pre-professional program, and she does ballet and West African dance there. And I was severely nervous because I needed to drop her off for tech rehearsals at 4:15, and I wouldn't see her till after the performance, which was about 9:45 p.m. I let the staff know my seat number. I packed ice packs in her bag, sour candy, all the things, expecting her to have another episode. However, beforehand, I made sure she had something to eat. I look at my counter. I'm guilty. Lisa would know. I had my test and my balance oil just sitting on my counter, still not taking my test because I wanted to film it. I wanted to do all this stuff, all the ideas in my head, but it was just putting it off. So I look at the balance oil and I remember Lisa saying, I had hip pain and I started taking this oil and I don't have hip pain anymore. And I said, you know what? Maybe it won't hurt. So I gave her a shot of the balance oil. And since then, she reminds me that she needs to take the balance oil. She loves it. Every morning we take it, and hand to God, she has not had an episode since then. We did a second EEG test on her yesterday, which was for an overnight. So hopefully we'll get those results in. But even the neurologist said that for a person to have an episode like hers and then remember what happened and then get back on stage and perform, it looks like it was a panic attack. It's not epilepsy, it's not seizures, but let's be cautious and continue to test her to see. It's almost been a month and we haven't had an episode, and I truly believe it has to do with this balance oil. I'm not advocating that it's a medical, like you should still see your doctors. However, she loves it, and if she loves it, great. So today, what did we do? We filmed each other doing our balance test together. So she did hers, I did mine. And so I just can't believe that I've had this on my counter when it could have helped her all along. And I just can't wait to see what our numbers are when we get them back. I'm afraid mine will probably be 100-1, but it's okay. Um, but she's excited about it, and as long as she's excited, I'm all for it. And we haven't had an episode, so I think that if the kids are excited to take it, I would absolutely recommend that your kids take it because she is a perfectionist, so it's helped her calm down, no anxiety, no panic attacks, and I just think it's really great. I don't know what else to say, Lisa. I think that's it.
That was perfect. I appreciate you sharing. I know that, especially when it's something so personal that's going on, sometimes it might be hard to share. And especially when you procrastinate with things that, because where does she get being a perfectionist from? You want the videos and everything to be perfect. But this just shows that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So I appreciate you sharing, my girl, Peggy.
Thank you.
Who's next with their amazing testimony? Go ahead, Connie.
I'll go. First of all, I want to say, Peggy, that gave me chills. I'm so glad that your 9-year-old daughter is getting better. But anyway, I'm Connie
Thank
Bolick,
you.
and I have been with It Works, now Zenzino, for 10 years, and I have to say that the oil is amazing, but I want to go back to when I started 10 years ago. I started because I had sinus headaches almost every day, and it was like from February to April, and then from August to November. And I thought something had to give, so I started taking our greens. Back then it was the orange greens, and I put it in orange juice, and I immediately stopped having sinus issues. So it was like I was sold. Then we got the coffee, and I started drinking the coffee. Mind you, I hate regular coffee. I'm one of these people that said if it tasted as good as it smelled, I would drink it every day, but it's too bitter. But then we got our keto coffee, and I started drinking the keto coffee. I lost 27 pounds, and I was like, I'm sold. The coffee's going to be in my cabinet from now till forever. And then we got the merger with Zinzino, and I started taking the oil. I'm 68 years old, and I was having trouble sleeping at night. I couldn't, I like to garden and stuff like that, but I didn't have enough energy to go from one point of my garden to the other point of my garden last year to even water them or weed it. So I started taking oil this year, and I've been able to bring the hose up all the way from the back. We have 5 acres. So I've just been able to bring the hose up and walk around, do my garden, do all of my gardening without any help from my husband. And I'm not winded. I'm not sore. I can do anything. It just is amazing. And I sleep at night. The energy is crazy. I don't know what else to say. It's just amazing what this oil has done for me physically. I don't have any brain fog. I can go to the pantry now, and I can, this is what I need, instead of going to the pantry and coming back to the kitchen going, I forgot it. So um, I can't say enough about it. This is probably the best choice for me was the omega oil. I was 31 and 1. My husband tested, he was 33 and 1. So we're testing again in 2 weeks. I cannot wait to see what our numbers are.
I will start just by saying I still don't believe 68, where I don't believe it. Um,
Thank you.
yes, absolutely. And I'm sure that she didn't mention it, but she has amazing results with the collagen as well, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you for sharing. And that just goes back to, if you are an OG here that's been here for many, many years, we've had amazing products, but now they're working even better with this oil. Who's next? We have, I think,
I'm
two or
going
three.
next.
Oh, you go, Shakti.
Trying to get it out the way.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Shanika. I've been in the health and wellness space, just like these ladies. I've been in for about actually 4 years. Today was the day I signed up with It Works, and I was one of the ones that got the kit, left the products on the shelf, and then I finally was like, all right, let me see what this is about, right? So my testimony goes back to the Skinny Brew coffee. Is amazing. That's the one of the first products that I tried, started using. Um, and I was just like, okay. I started drinking it. I was like a Folgers type, put a pound of sugar in there on top of some cream and all the good stuff. So once I started drinking the Skinny Brew, the first couple of cups, not gonna hold you up. I was like, all right, I gotta put some sugar in here. But then I'm like, it's all in your mind, right? So after that, I noticed I'm not a big scale person, but I noticed that my energy was up. I jumped on the scale and I had dropped 4 pounds in the first week just off the coffee. And I'm like, all right, something's hitting here. Let me keep going. Um, and eventually just with consistency, I dropped 24 pounds with the Skinny Brew coffee. Um, just the energy increase. Wasn't feeling as tired and the hunger, like the cravings early in the morning, because I get up real early. I don't have lunch until around noon. So I pretty much do like an 8 hour shift before even eating anything. So that was a really big help with that. fast forward to our merge with Enzino, learning about the omega balance and imbalance is just, it's been amazing for me myself. I took the test. I tested and my test came back at 50 to 1. So I'm like, all right, we got to do something about this. I started drinking the oil, and I can say for myself that 2 weeks in, maybe a week, 2 weeks in, I started feeling such a big difference. First and foremost, life was lifing from like September till then. So I was just like snacking away, just craving everything under the roof. Gained about 4 or 5 pounds. 2 weeks in, I'm noticing that less bloat, I'm feeling lighter, but the energy increased. Like I work 10-hour shifts. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I make it home probably around 4:30. I was like dead on the highway for a 45-minute drive after work, just like not feeling it. 2 weeks in, I started noticing like, wait, I'm up. Like I got home one day, cooked dinner, went to the yard, did some work, everything, and I was like, hold on, we got something going here. So the energy was crazy. And then I noticed just like the better sleep. I'm I've been getting 4 to 5 hours for years. So that's my normal for me, but just getting up now compared to then is like I get up and I'm ready for the day. That alarm go off when I do jump up, I'm ready for it. So that alone, just feeling like the sleep is so much better. And then the cravings, I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm noticing that I'm not thinking about the snacks when I go to the store. Life still life in, but I'm not worried about the snacking, and all the sugar and the bad stuff. And I did step back on the scale, and I've lost 3 of those 5 pounds that I've gained. And this is just like with the balance oil. And also my son, he drinks it every day. He loves it. We go in our stories every day. And with him, he says he sleeps better. He feels so much better, even after school. And I was amazed. They do like the state test throughout the year, and they give them like 40, 45 minutes. And he come home one day and he's like, Mom, I finished my test in 20 minutes, and they couldn't believe it. And they didn't think I was done. And I'm like, okay, because you're more focused. You know you're into it. So we enjoy taking it together. Um, and the benefits behind that balance oil, you guys, if you ain't on it, get on it now because it's amazing.
Thank you, Shanika. Thank you. I love the testimonies with your kids, getting your kids on it, but getting your kids involved with what you're doing and their health from this early age. They're not gonna, what do they say? That they may not listen to what you say, but they're gonna do what you do, right? So these are things that you instill in your kids from a young age that when they're on their own, they're going to know what's what and what to do because we're bringing that to them now. So thank you, Shanika, for sharing that. Shara, go ahead.
Hello, I'll try to be
Well, we
quick
have
because
all over the map here. I love
I
this.
know, I know, over in Iowa here. So I just realized too when she was talking that today is my 13th year anniversary in this industry. So yes, I'm pretty excited about that. And I don't know. I was a big so okay, with It Works, I was a big 30-day drop person, all the things, loved it. I still do my aloe and coffee every day, like everybody talks about. And then when we had this merge, I was just kind of like, okay, had no idea. I didn't know anything about omegas. I'll be completely honest. I didn't know what we were talking about, but I did my blood test right away. I was so excited. Um, I was a 28 to 1 when I got mine. But I tell you what, I didn't even realize what was happening. I knew I was feeling better. I was having more energy. Um, but I didn't really notice until I took some pictures from being at our event in February and then seeing where I was at just within 45 to 60 days later. And that's why you guys, pictures are a big deal. Like the scale's one thing, but I was like, kind of blown away at my own photos just because I was like, the inflammation, the bloat. I've always had just puffy. I've always just had that issue. And the stubborn weight that wouldn't come off. The, kind of feeling tired and sluggish. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what's in this? This is fantastic. Like, I can't wait to get my next test done because me jumping out of bed at 4:30 in the morning to go work out was like that was it's so good. I did have a slight back injury for about 2 weeks, but I will say that I kept taking my oil, and I do the health protocol, which is one of our programs that I love. But I didn't go to the doctor. I just kind of watched myself, and it did, it went away. Um, and so now I'm back to my workouts and feeling really good about that. And I'm also anxious to test this out, you guys, because I had a cortisone shot in my knee in January before I had started the oil. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes because my daughter gets married next week, and I'm like, it's still good. And I don't know how long those normally last, but 6 months is kind of a good range. But I'm actually bone on bone, so this will be challenging. It's going to probably have to take care of it at some point, but it feels really good. Knock on wood, right? Feels really good. And I'm really excited because I just know that when you get rid of that inflammation, like I had no idea, just the energy. And when you feel good, you want to do better, I feel like. So it takes a little bit, but I always tell my friends and people, put the scale away, take some pictures, because honestly, my pictures, I feel like would look like a bigger drop on the scale than it is. So it's only was about like an 8 pound, but now you guys, it's starting to come off again. It's coming off a little easier. And I love it because when our cells are hardened, as we know, nothing's getting through. And that's what makes me really excited. I'm kind of trying to think of what else. My biggest thing was the inflammation and just not having the aches and pains. I'm 52, I'm a grandma, and I'm like, you know what? It feels good to feel good. And I'm really, really excited. I've never seen anything like this. And it's just interesting to me that omegas aren't being talked about. And I'm so glad that this kind of fell into our lap the way it did. I'm really excited about it. I won't take up too much time because I know we have more that want to talk, but that's about all I've got.
That is amazing. When you feel good, you want to do more things. I know me personally, yes, the hip pain, discouraging, right? When you have an ache or pain, even with the migraines, I feel like I want to take over the world. Like, I'm like, this is what it feels like to feel good without having a headache, like just a constant headache. And I'm telling everyone now, do you take magnesium? Just like with the omegas, like migraines, take magnesium, but you have to take it with the vitamin D because I'm learning so much more about things that, you know, something I'm going to speak briefly about. I don't know if she's still on. One of my girls, we were talking about this. So, what's super important and great about these products? So, if you go to the doctor and they prescribe you vitamin D3, usually you get it from Walmart, you get it from Amazon, they just tell you take 3,000, whatever it is at the end, right? Now, two things. One, it's not being absorbed properly if you're not taking, or I'm sorry, the vitamin D or the magnesium. But for instance, if you see on a Motrin bottle, if you have a headache and you're supposed to take 200 milligrams, and my daughter has a migraine or a headache and she's going to take 200 milligrams. She weighs 110 pounds. I weigh almost 150. How are we taking the same thing? And you don't even know what's being properly absorbed into your body. With these products, it goes by your weight, which is absolutely amazing. So I was talking to one of my girls about that. You know, that is a huge selling point, right? For getting people on something that's actually working specifically for them. And for myself with the magnesium and the vitamin D, when you feel better, you want to get up and do things. You want to get up early in the morning as opposed to just not feeling like doing anything, right? So thank you, Shara. Um, Kathy, I think we have one more. Kathy.
Hey everybody, I'm Catherine or Kathy. Um, just as some of the ladies here, I started with It Works 6 years ago. In March made 6 years already that I've been in officially with network marketing. I started in 2020 when COVID happened. It literally threw me off balance. I had went to the doctor thinking that I was having a heart attack or a stroke. But when they told me that I was extremely obese and that I wasn't gonna at the not at the time I was 39 years old my birthday was shy of 3 months to being 40, and the doctor told me I wasn't going to make it to see my 40th birthday. Just a quick backstory on me. I was born with a birth defect called spina bifida, and people usually with my condition do not make it to 40 because apparently according to being stigmatized, we are unhealthy folks. Usually a lot of parts of our body functional, the intestines, all of us, things like that inside internally usually don't work properly as those that can actively walk, run, and don't have those issues. So I started on the skinny brew coffee. I literally was like, I want to live, but I started crying. I was praying. I was like, hey, God, I need a miracle. I need something because I want to live, and skinny brew coffee was a lifesaver, literally, because I've been drinking coffee since I was 15. So when they told me about a coffee that could make me lose weight and give me energy, of course, I was skeptical and I said, whatever, something called It Works is not going to work. It's a hoax, blah, blah, blah. Now, 6 years later, I'm consistent with it. Um, I've been on other, like the slimmer with the appetite suppressant because I'm a big foodie. I have a huge sweet tooth and all that other stuff. Then this merge. Oh yeah, no, let me not jump too far ahead. So starting with the skinny brew coffee, and then the greens, and within 3 months, no, the first month I started feeling the difference because everything starts with a feeling. I started feeling more energetic. I felt more alive, more awake. I said, okay, I feel, good. And I started doing exercises just out of the blue and just felt like, okay, wow, and then because of my condition, spina bifida, I'm in a wheelchair. I walk with crutches. Um, because of my conditions, I'm always in pain, always with leg pain, hip pain, back pain, just every pain you can think of. I have arthritis as well. And apparently, according to the doctors, I have sciatica. So when this merge came, let's fast forward a little bit, I was skeptical about this merge and kind of scared. Like, okay, what is it gonna offer? Is there anything that I'll be able to do? Started on the oil quickly and noticed the change in the way that I walk with my crutches. I walk up straighter, the way that I sleep. I get out of the bed even faster and I wake up well rested to the point where sometimes on a Saturday where I would normally sleep until 10 or 11, by 7 o'clock, I'm literally looking up at the sky like, okay, why am I awake? I'm supposed to be resting. Um, thanks to Lisa, I took the test to test my omegas because I can't take the doctor's omegas because I'm allergic to shellfish. And the doctor's omega pills kept making me sick all the time that I had to not use them. And, I'm deemed unhealthy according to the doctors my whole entire life. When I got tested, I said, okay, this test is going to be funny because it's probably going to be like one of the highest numbers since supposedly I'm I'm 44 going on 45 and I'm supposedly the most unhealthiest person ever. When I got my test results, I was amazed and like shock mode when I tested. Um, Lisa, if I get this wrong, please correct me because we were both amazed. I think I scored 3 to 6 to 1 in my Omega balance test when I got it back because I was expecting to be in the 20s, 50s, or even hundreds because of, my condition. And then, I love the fact that once you get your test, it gives you the recommendations on what products it feels like you should take. So it told me basically to exercise more, it said move my body more, and it told me I needed to go onto a health protocol. the funny part is I was already taking the oil, which I was just amazed on how well I sleep at night and how well rested I wake up. I'm not so exhausted. I was already taking the xenobiotics, which is a huge game changer for me personally because of my condition. I keep calling condition, but it is what it is, right? So because of my condition, I always have inflammation. In October, I was in the hospital because my intestines, something was wrong. I had a lot of inflammation. I wasn't using the bathroom properly. They told me I needed to fix my gut health, even though I was on the greens. Um, at one point, I've been consistent with a lot of the It Works products for 6 years, and for some reason, my weight all of a sudden becomes stagnant. That I looked puffy all the time. I stopped, losing weight, and it was just like, okay, what's happening? So when the xenobiotics came out, I read on it, and I even before I got the test back, I was already on the xenobiotics because I needed something that was going to stop my bloating, something that was going to help me with gut health and immune support, as well as well as my cholesterol levels because I tend I'm Hispanic. I love bread. We eat rice a lot, and I'm trying to cut down on those things to get healthier. And it's been helping me with that and my energy to the fact that now um I mix Timeless actually from It Works with my water with the xenobiotic because it has no flavor, so I like flavor, or I'll mix it with my collagen, and it's definitely helped me go to the bathroom properly. I'm no longer bloated, and I started actively losing weight again, and my energy has been like, wow, to the point that they were giving me medications for it, and their medication wasn't working for the digestive system and the gastrointestinal issues that they told me I had that I wasn't aware. My mom has gastrointestinal issues and gut issues as well too, where she wasn't losing weight on certain things. So I got her on it, and it's been helping her. My mom is 65 years young. Um, and I'm about to be 45. And it's helped us both with, you know, our moving our bowels correctly and better, where it's no longer painful and we don't feel like everything inside is about to shatter. You know what I mean? And this whole thing has been making me feel really good. I don't feel over, I don't feel heavy, and I've been suggesting it to people with the same condition as me, as well as those suffering from issues with their intestines. And my doctors are wondering what I'm doing differently because my lab works is also coming out better. I just started on the Xeno Shine for the magnesium and things like that because I'm slightly anemic. And even though I'm tired because of the anemia and cold, I'm starting to feel a little bit different where I'm starting to feel like my old self again of being happy and not so dizzy and everything like that. So, um, plus the oil and everything, honestly, this merge is literally saving my life because soon I'm going to be 45 years old. And my doctor all of a sudden already told me before that I need to do better because if not, I'll lose certain functions of my body, and I said, that's not going to happen. And then we get this merge. And again, God is good, is like you pray for something that you want to help yourself with and something all of a sudden is poof. So I'm excited about this merge and everybody needs to know about these products. And I don't know, I had a whole spiel of what I wanted to say, but that's literally all I have right now.
And that was perfect. Each and every one of you that shared, I truly appreciate your time and vulnerability to come on and share that with not just us, but we have the recording. I know people had messaged me that they couldn't jump on, but please get me the recording. This is something that you can share with your team. This is something that if you have a team Zoom, you could just play this in the background, right? Expect your team to listen in on this. Your new people that are coming in to listen in on this because we have something not that nobody else has. And if it's helping each and every one of us, how many people can you help with this? So I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you, Rusty. Thank you for your time and support. I don't know if anyone has anything that they want to share. I know that there is an opportunity Zoom at 9 that's coming up with the Duns that they are hosting. But this was very much needed. So I appreciate you guys.
Well, guys, it's the power of your own personal testimony and your willingness to go share it to help other people. What you're doing is lending hope, you're lending your passion, and it gets people excited because everybody in America needs to hear these stories. And every day when you get the opportunity, don't keep it in. This is a gift that you've got. God has gave us this enormous gift, even with the merger. I've been with Mark going on actually September 26 years, full time. And when he gives you something like this is not to hold your gifts in, it's to take the bow off the gift, pull the lid off the box, and go after it. People need you. Do you realize that this year you're writing a blockbuster story, which is your story, as absolutely nothing can hold you back except you and what you think other people think? And when you get to the point you don't care what they think, because they're really not thinking about you at all, until you open your mouth and you share these kind of stories that offer hope. And then you have a product line with a test based that can walk right in, get the test, and start feeling the results immediately. And I want to ask you one question, and then we're going to shut it off when we're getting ready to go to another Zoom. How many people do you know that desperately need to hear your story, that need the oil, that need the test? What if you're the one that was desperately needed it and somebody just didn't share it with you? And you went through all the stuff that every one of us has been through. And now this oil is taking us to the next level because it's deleting inflammation. When you get the inflammation down, you know how much better you're starting to feel. You know how much harder you can work out. You know how much happier you are. Well, I can tell you, I'm going to tell you a quick story. My 3-year-old granddaughter has just been endorsed by her pediatrician to take xenobiotics, the xeno oil, and the super chocolate greens, and she is not to ever miss another day of it. And when I end the recording, I'll tell you the rest of the story. But when we pulled it up to show her what we had, she said, "Oh, that's in the blue zone." I said, "Well, what does that mean?" She said, "There's no chemicals," which we already knew that. I said, "Yeah." And it's just, we're a major part of this company here. And now we got even medical people that want to join us in this quest to create a solution for the people's problems in America. No longer do we need to what? Continue to treat or mask a problem. We need to get to the root cause of it. And I firmly believe with every fiber in my body, in my 26 years full time in this industry, that we have the very best product line in the world for every human in America and around the world. And we're going to change more lives in the next little bit than you've ever seen your entire life. If you focus on the money, you'll always be broke. If you focus on the value of the product, you can't even spend it. I promise to God, I've been here a long time. Guys, I love you. You matter to me. And until tomorrow, y'all make this the best evening you've ever had. And whatever you need, you do not hesitate to get with Lisa or come directly to me. And she and I are here to help you do whatever it takes if we have to work around the clock. This is the biggest run we've ever had, including when I left the bank to do this 26 years ago. Here we go. And guess what? You guys get to go with us this go round. You're the next mega stars in this industry. Guys, good night. I'll see you on the next Zoom.
Thank you.